From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Came from Carolina, but went to school here at MICA, and while she was still there, had a dream for a webcomic, and it just flat out took off. She creates characters that resonate with readers. She defies expectation. She has a vision. She knows what she's doing, and that led to Nimona, which recently was a finalist. Yes, was a finalist for the National Book Award. A big hand for that, I think. And you may know her as well from her work on Lumberjanes, her fantastic work. And we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about these successes. She's also written for Marvel. She has other projects. She's in Hollywood. Everything she creates seems to be optioned for film. So our hope is between live action and animation, smart people, talented people will bring her vision to the screen, and she will just continue rising. It is my true pleasure to bring to the stage for the first time on this stage, Noelle Stevenson. All right, wherever you want to sit.
Which chair do I sit on? Where am I going?
Go there, go there.
This chair is as good as any other.
Well, thank you so much.
Hi, guys. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I know you could be at Salman Rushdie right now, but instead you're here.
He's easier to find, right? We know where he is. But thank you so much. We were talking the other day, what moves me is people's origin stories. And I'm always fascinated when, like, I was a kid who my parents threw so much pop culture at me and so much art, and it was sort of a gluttony of getting to see everything. You had the opposite experience, right? Your parents were like no Disney films, not much TV. I think Scooby-Doo was one of the few exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised in South Carolina. I have 4 brothers and sisters, and we were all homeschooled. So, we were kind of it was the whole movement of people who, we weren't allowed to read Harry Potter when I was growing up because it would teach you to be a witch, obviously. I think I was not allowed to watch Pocahontas after my little sister saw it at a sleepover and came home and said, "Mommy, did you know that you can pray to trees?" So no more Pocahontas for us.
Yikes.
I got a babysitter fired for letting me watch Powerpuff Girls.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, I don't know if there was an across-the-board ban on, all kids' movies or kids' media, but it certainly wasn't a really wide-open world that I was partaking in. The first movie I saw in theaters was The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Because it was about God.
Yes.
And it was great. I mean, I was obsessed with it. And yeah, there's a lot of infant murder and naked man butts in it. So, but it's about God.
You can have that, but you can't pray to trees. But
No.
you can have man butt.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's about God.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all good. But I mean, they mellowed out a lot as I got older. Yeah, now they're so mellow. They
Really?
are too mellow. I come home and my mom puts a drink in my hand. We start
Wow.
partying. I'm like, Mom, where's my real mom?
Did they change or did you?
I think the kids. I think that they were hippies before they had kids.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to be the good, Christian parents and raise their kids right.
Yeah.
And they did that for a while and they got tired of it. And then they're like, let's just be hippies again. Our kids are already,
Yeah. Well, and your parents
they're clearly just going to do whatever they're going to do.
Well, and your parents were next to you at the National Book Award ceremony, right, last
Right,
year, and
yeah.
they looked happy. They looked like they were chilling.
Yeah.
Maybe drinking with you.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
My little sister, I could only get tickets. I mean, they said I could only have 1 ticket. So I was like, all right, I'll bring my mom. I always promised her that she could come. But then my dad's like, I want to come. So I'm like, I'll pull strings and get you a ticket. I got my dad a ticket. And they're like, oh, your sisters are coming with us. I'm like, I can't get 2 more tickets. This is a really expensive event.
Yeah.
So my sister's snuck in. And my little sister, she worked as a waitress at the time, so she had a white tuxedo jacket, which happened to be exactly what the waiters at the event were wearing.
No.
So my little sister infiltrates the ranks of the waiters.
Wow.
And at some point, I just hear someone go, shots, and
Wow.
3 shots are set down in front of me and my parents, and I look up, and she's disappearing again into the crowd. I'm like,
So when a good family goes bad, they go really bad. That is amazing. So, I mean, you were drawing, what I love, again, with origin stories is, like, if you don't get to see anything except the occasional Disney man, but what do you go? Well, you were drawing, like, stick figures. We talked about, I think, wild roller coaster rides, maybe ants or decapitations or something.
I had a ongoing series that I wrote, filled several notebooks with. It was the story of an ant who was traumatized by roller coasters.
Yeah.
But he wanted to overcome his fear of roller coasters, so he would always like ride more roller coasters, and they would always crash in terrible ways. And this ant would get like mangled, and he was just like 3 little black dots with like arms and legs and antenna coming out. So he would get all of his body parts would go everywhere, like in different train cars and like. And then he would be like, no more roller coasters. He'd have his like little ant cast on, and then like roller coasters would like come to the middle of the grocery store and like scoop him up, and you'd have to ride the next one. It was very gruesome.
Now, you were like 5 or 6 though, right?
Yeah, I didn't know how to write yet. All I could write was like vroom, I think, was the only sound effect. It was just like vroom, and you hear it coming, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then a roller coaster would
Did
come.
you let your parents see your comics?
I don't think anyone else ever saw the Ant Roller Coaster
Okay.
comics. I had like a bunch of sketchbooks that I kept all the time, and my siblings snooped through everything, so they might have seen it, but
If they
I
can
didn't really...
infiltrate the National Book Awards, they can.
Yeah. Oh, I have like the snoopiest family ever. Everyone goes through each other's stuff. I was like, my little sister came out to visit me last year, and she was like, I was like talking about something that had happened when we were kids, and I was like, yeah, this is secretly how I felt about it. I didn't want to tell anyone that. She's like, oh, I know. I read your journal.
Yeah.
I was like,
They're just open too.
I think she has like a bright future ahead of her as like a spy or like a
Wow.
private investigator or something.
Or your lawyer or agent, I think, would think. But
She did do my hair and makeup for the National Book Awards.
Nice,
Yeah,
okay.
She gave me this whole like bouffant thing.
yeah,
It was great. It was so
nice.
cool.
Would you let her do that again?
Oh,
You trust
totally,
her?
yeah.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
family skills. So you were there. You're being homeschooled. Did you were you seeking out comics? I think you said you were about 11 when you went to your first comic book store.
I don't know how old I was. I was into Star Wars at the time, so
Okay.
I was going for Star Wars action figures. I
Okay.
wasn't going for comics.
Yeah.
And I went to the one comic shop that was in my town. It was called I don't know. It was it looked like a big castle with a dragon on top. So it was really cool, and they had like a huge Jabba, which I really wanted.
Yeah.
And I remember the first thing that I saw when I walked in was like a cardboard cutout of Princess Leia in her like metal bikini.
Yeah.
And she had a sign taped over her belly button with the like deals for the day. And
Oh,
I just
geez.
and I was like 11, and I was just like, oh, this is the kind of place this is. I get
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever go back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wasn't even like, oh no, not a bikini. Like I'd seen Star Wars, of course, but I just got a really clear message from that, was that this store wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I could go with my friends' older brothers, but it was going to be weird if I went by myself, so I just didn't go back.
Not for you in a male-female way, and did it?
Just that it was like, oh, this is what girls look like here.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you just get
Yeah.
you just get messages.
Is that shop still there? Or have you been
Yeah,
back?
actually, that's I went back. I was looking for some random little comic that I was reading at the time, and I go in, and it was kind of like it's got a lot of like cardboard boxes, like long boxes full of like back issues. It's very, very like hardcore nerdy now.
Yeah.
And I went in, I was like so nervous. I was like, oh, are they gonna be? Because it's a thing you always do whenever you go into a comic shop. It's like, are they gonna be nice to me this time?
Yeah.
And the guy behind the counter, he kind of looked, a little, I don't know, like unshaven, and I was like, oh, is he gonna be nice? And he's like, hi, how are you? Like, what are you looking for? And he's like, oh, you like that comic? Try this one. And it was like so nice, and he was like,
So it was totally
introducing
different.
me to like other like comic book shoppers in there, and they were all like, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm like so sorry that I judged you because it's like a weird dark basement, but it was so great. Like, and I've been into like the most trendy, like brightly lit comic shops, and people have been terrible to me, you know.
Really?
So it's like you really can't tell. Sometimes it's just like a little hidden gem of people who really do want to share their passion with
Sure,
you. They
yeah.
really want to they want you to read, they want to introduce you to more comics and recommend more comics, and that was an amazing feeling. Just feeling like, oh, you never know.
Yeah.
So
It's changed. I saw a photo of that shop recently, and there was a dude in a metal bikini out front. So I think it means things have totally changed. No, it is. I remember going to Comic-Con and talking to Stan Sakai, who'd been going to San Diego Comic-Con for decades, and he'd bring his family, and he said, we were, my wife was often the only female there. And we've just seen, this revolution. Do you feel a part of a revolution? Do you feel, what do you feel? What do you see as change occurs?
I mean, I would say more part of a wave.
Yeah.
So, and I managed to jump on the wave as it was already happening.
Yeah.
So, the part that I jumped onto was webcomics. So webcomics it was pretty new, but 10, 15 years old by the time I started dabbling in it, and just so much of the work had already been done.
Yeah.
People had figured out how to have a webcomic, what the format would typically be, how to monetize it using ads and Kickstarter and Patreon, and so it was already this really rich community, and I managed to just kind of it's standing on the shoulders of giants, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It is like a lot of people had laid the groundwork, and
yeah. Is there anyone you
benefited
look
from
to, artists, creators, writers, anyone you look to for inspiration?
Absolutely. I mean, Kate Beaton's another guest here. She was one of the first webcomic artists.
Park of Vagrant, among others.
Tony Cliff's book, Delilah Dirk and the Turkish Lieutenant, was the first like serialized fantasy-ish comic that I read that made me think that I could do something like that, and then there's Yuko and Ananth from Johnny Wander, Jess Fink, Ryan North, all of the old greats who were working 10 years before me, back in the olden days of webcomics. And they were, it was just such a welcoming world when I came into it, and yeah.
So you're in South Carolina. You're in Columbia till you're about roughly 18, right?
17.
17, and then you go off to MICA, and you're majoring in illustration. And did it feel like any sort of cultural shift, or now you feel like, okay, now I'm in art camp, and
I mean, I showed up, and the first college party that I went to, there were clippers, and they were just doling out undercuts. It was like, I woke up the next day in my wrong bed with half my head shaved. I was like, oh, this is the best part of last night. Like, the one thing I don't regret. But it was completely different.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, I came from South Carolina. I came from a little bit of country club area. And where everything was it was just very controlled what I would respond to. And a lot of my friends did go to Christian schools.
Yeah.
With the assumption that, if you are exposed to sins, you will become sinful, so you'd better not expose yourself to that at all, which is just, I don't know, this strikes me as terribly backwards thinking.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how you can have real faith if you don't trust yourself to be out in the real world. But the place that I did go, it was a place of undercuts and a place of tattoos that you administered yourself, and it was a place of, really, really queer students as well, and everything changed. It was I have to re-examine every single thing that I've grown up with, because I know these people now. They're my friends. So, I have to reconsider every single thing I've ever learned. I was wrong about everything. And it just tore me down to the base and built me up again. And I'm still, trying to reevaluate as often as I can, because I don't want to,
So did you start going out every night and testing your faith with
well,
different ways?
My faith got pretty well tested. It's no longer much of a thing, but I guess that's why I should have gone to Christian school.
So when did Nimona just, what's amazing to me is how you can take something, some things emerge and they just seem fully formed, and Nimona's just comes across as one of those things that you just, from wherever it sprang, you just had such vision for it, and had such vision for Nimona as a character. I think you've talked about going through certain times of interviews where you said you hated certain female characters and you didn't like what you were seeing. Can you just talk about the creation of Nimona and what maybe you were reacting to?
Yeah, I mean, it all came out of a just I guess a fateful collision of different influences that I had at the time. I mean, one of them was that Halloween was coming up, and I wanted to dress. I wanted to dress up for Halloween, of course. It's a big deal at art school. Everyone goes crazy on their costumes and makes something really elaborate. But I was like, I dress up as a male character every year for Halloween. I've never dressed up as a female character before because I don't feel comfortable in the clothes that a lot of female characters wear. And even if I do, it's like most of them have long hair, I have short hair. Like, where are the characters who look a little bit more like me? And I think I probably dressed up as Hawkeye or something that year anyway. So, but it was like on my mind that I wanted to design somebody who was iconic and just looked a little bit different from the other heroines that I had to pick from. And so that was kind of on my mind. And then also I was drawing this kind of like Joan of Arc type character a lot of the time. It was just like a medieval interest that I was just exploring. And so I went to a class and they were like, all right, you're gonna make a character in 30 minutes. I was like, all right, you know, and it just came out. Like, she just appeared. Actually, I'd come up, the character had existed before. I had a character in high school. His name was Nightshade, and she was a shapeshifter, and she wore an eye patch. And she was really cool. She was just like so cool.
Did you cosplay as Nightshade? Ever?
No, I mean, she had never really been anything. I had never even really drawn her. It was just like an idea. And so I was like, I want to do something with this character who's kind of been floating around for a bit, but she's never had a story. There's not been other characters. And so she emerged for this project, and it kind of combined those ideas. I was like, she'll be like a superhero, because the original one had been more of a standard superhero universe, and then I was like, oh, but I'll make it medieval. And it added this interesting flavor, I think, that took it a step above the typical, you know, deconstructing the superhero with like generic buildings, and they wear a t-shirt, and like, so and it just, you know, after the assignment was done, I was like, oh, I like this character. I'm gonna, you know, see where this takes me.
Well, can you talk about, like, we're seeing this image, if we could go to that, you know, and her look. I don't know if she ever had an undercut, but, you know.
The whole back of her head is an undercut.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole look, could you talk about, you know, as you have just a beautiful sense of design, and your characters, you have the gift, you feel your characters, you feel Ballister, you know, you feel sort of this easy arrogance, privilege of Golden Loin, right? You know, so could you talk about, like, you know, her look and what you were trying to do there and what you succeeded at?
Yeah, her look stayed pretty much the same. It was really important to me that she was like chunky, just because that was one of the things that I like didn't see as often, and it's really fun to draw, frankly. But she stayed pretty much unchanged. I think her first iteration, she had a different. If anyone remembers, read the webcomics, she had a little bit of a different look on the first few pages, and then I changed it to give her. She's the most anachronistic character in the comic, but I did want to give her a little bit of almost like a page boy effect to her haircut. So that's where that haircut came from. Still with the punk element, though. And it's funny because I was like talking about how like I wanted her to be cosplayable, and then I was like, and she's not gonna wear pants. And this was like really funny to me. The first 2 pages I had not slept in like 3 weeks, so I like. It was really funny to me that she wasn't wearing pants. I don't remember what the joke was, but there was some kind of joke. And then I also like gave her the shaved head, which no cosplayer ever wants to like commit that hard to. So it kind of shot myself in the foot there, making like the ultimate cosplay character. Not that you know should really inform your decisions when you're designing somebody. But yeah, I mean, she stayed pretty much the same. It was just like, how can I combine these medieval elements with the with some more like punk elements.
And I like the sense that you know, Ballister, you think he's going to be this free-for-all supervillain, and that he has rules and he has standards. And
no one is more disappointed than Nimona to find that out.
Exactly, And he has pants on, thankfully.
He does. Most of the other characters.
I found that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you?
I put a panty shot on the second page in the original one. I don't know how anyone let me get away with this.
You could cosplay like that at Micah, but anywhere else, I think. But
I'm really trying to remember what I had. I told my friend, I was like, we need to draw knights without pants. This is really funny. I don't remember why. It must just be funny when you haven't slept. Which also explains the shark.
Exactly. It all makes sense now. So before you guys read
I'm just destroying the magic of this book for everybody. No thought went into it.
So at some point, try reading this after just not sleeping for a week, and maybe
it becomes way funny.
Yeah. So could you talk about their relationship and that? Because that's, again, very immediately, their dynamic was very natural. Can you talk about that?
I think I was always very interested in, as the middle child of 5, I was very interested in the idea of having an older parental figure who would give you their sole attention.
Yeah.
So, I didn't.
Another way your parents didn't measure up, or?
I mean, I was one of 5.
Yes,
You
sure.
can't.
You can't.
You just cannot.
Yeah.
I was the middle, so I neither required the most attention nor the least.
Yeah.
I think I was inspired by. There's kind of a little bit of a Batman and Robin influence there. Batman and Carrie Kelly specifically, which I kind of expected to I thought that I was being so obvious about the Carrie Kelly thing, and I thought I'd get called out about it. But it's actually not that obvious now that I look back at it. I'm at one point she wears green goggles and yellow gloves. I'm like, oh, this is such a shout out, and no one got it. No one knows who Carrie Kelly is, I guess. I don't know.
Another thing that in the moment was just, made total sense.
So it was kind of a Batman and Robin. It was kind of, there's a little bit of Mystique and Magneto in there. And there's a little bit of Draken and Chico from Kim Possible.
Sure.
So those were all just kind of the boss sidekick relationships that I was inspired by. And,
nice. Now, being 17, 18, 19, that can be a time of enormous change, and you were going through change. It's just incredibly cool that she's a shapeshifter, and what that speaks to identity and feelings toward identity, could even be identity politics. Can you talk a little bit about why a shapeshifter?
Yeah, I mean, it's the point of the whole book, I think, is identity. And what was interesting to me about Nimona was, spoiler alert, she doesn't have a default form, which most shapeshifters do. So you kind of assume, because you meet her as this girl, that this is who she really is, but it isn't. And I think there's because I did make Nightshade up, when I was in high school. I had been homeschooled until my junior year, and then I went to public high school for 2 years, and I just had no idea what I was doing there, who I was.
I just have to, how was that? Was that?
I just skated through, I was in the drama club, and the drama club was kind of in a separate building away from the rest of the school, and I would just cut class all the time, and I was friends with the librarians and the art teacher and the drama teacher, so I would just cut class and go and read, or I'd cut class and go and I always had a note or something. I'd be like, I'm painting sets at drama club, I'm working on a children's book in art class, so they would just let me walk out. I was not used to sitting at a desk in a chair and having people be like, here's your worksheet, do this in 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm done, can I go? They're like, no, you have to stay. I'm like, I've been homeschooled for this long, my mom gives me a list of things to do, I do them, and then I can go play. I was in high school, so I guess I wasn't playing, but I want to go eat a bagel or whatever.
By the way, have any of those teachers, librarians, any of them, have they seen Nimona? Have you heard from any of them, or have you?
I'm a little bit in touch with my my high school art teacher. Really, she was the one who told me that art school was a thing. And brought in art school recruiters. So, she's basically the reason. She was the one who showed me what illustration was at all. I didn't know what was a thing.
That's amazing.
So she...
You want to give her a shout out?
Yeah. She's changed her last name by now. Mary Connor, Mary Hendricks.
Okay.
Her name is not Mary Hendricks.
Okay.
And she, I was well taken care of there.
Nice.
And, I was the only person, and I was one of 2, I think, in the school who wanted to do IB art.
Yeah, sure.
So they wanted to cut it. My school tried to cut all the art program, all the kind of higher art programs, and she fought for it for me. Even though she had to double it with the freshman art class. So it was me and one other person at a little table in the corner, and then the rest she's teaching freshmen how to make snowflakes and not throw paint at each other, and So it was it was life-changing.
Wow.
I never really had art class before being a homeschooler because, your parents teach you everything you know.
Yeah.
I'd had like a few art classes here and there, but...
so good job, Mary.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. So I mean, being a shapeshifter was almost like the best thing that I could think of because it was just like I was like pretty invisible there, but I didn't really know how I was perceived, and I was fine. Like I just skated through. I had my friends, and we like went to see community theater and like old movies because we were huge nerds. But like, I definitely wanted to be the kind of person who went to homecoming. I mean, like kind of, like not enough to actually try, but like, like in my heart, I was like, what would it be like to be prom queen?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Literally, this is the farthest thing from my head. I don't even know most of the kids I go to school with. They've been going to school with each other since they were kids, and like now I'm here, and like who the hell am I, And like,
it's the ultimate cosplay.
so it is just like, what if I could just try this on and just try this on and be someone different for just a little bit, but like, and I think teen girls are kind of always thinking that, you're like, I just want to like be this person just for a second, and I don't know how to be that. And then, when I got to college, I had my sophomore year was a very, very hard year. And I mean, it was the year I stopped going to church. It was the year that like, a lot of things happened. And it was just hard, I guess. I don't know.
Did it feel like a year of discovery?
It was a year of kind of self-harm a lot.
Yeah.
That came out in various ways. I lost a huge amount of weight that year in a really short period of time, and it was just like a lot of my friends at school that year killed themselves.
Wow.
And it was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know which way's up. I need some kind of hero who is as fluid as I wish that I could be, who can roll with these punches and be a literal chameleon and just fit into every situation that she's in. And like drawing her as chubby was like a huge part of that, with being like, sometimes I just want to like disappear, like I want my body to just disappear. And just having someone who was so physically there, who was just so loud and boisterous and she had real weight and took up real space, and that was just like, it was my way of kind of working through all those feelings inside myself. And
I mean, it's art is brave act of almost self-declaration, it sounds like. Yeah. I love, you draw transformation just beautifully. The first time I saw that, I still remember, it's so gorgeous in one panel, the way you do that so effortlessly. Is it hard to get that, or did that just flow from your hand?
I mean, nothing ever just flows from your hand.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight.
I know.
It's never like,
disabuse that illusion now.
It's never like Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I didn't know just how honest we were going to be here. Yeah.
Nothing ever flows from your hand. Get used to that right now. It doesn't mean that it can't be a lot of fun, but no. I mean, I was very, very alarmed by, I think Willow traumatized me, the part where like Val Kilmer turns into a pig.
Yeah.
And it takes him like a really long time, and it seems like it's really painful.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Same with like Pinocchio, where it's like children like crying because they're turning into donkeys and they can't even talk anymore, they're just braying. And I'm like, So I wanted her transformation into animals to not be horrifying.
Yes.
And so I came up with this idea that she's kind of, especially since she's not really, I came up with the idea that she would completely deconstruct herself before she could turn into another form. So she would kind of turn into this black dust and flow into the next form. So there wouldn't be that awkward in between, like Animorph stage, where it's like, I'm a dolphin and a girl. Like, it's funny that I loved shapeshifters so much, and I was so horrified by the actual act in most of the media that I was growing up with. But yeah, having the idea that for that middle period, it almost was like the death of her previous body. And she had to kind of remember if she wanted to go back to a body that she'd used before, she'd have to remember exactly what it looked like. And rebuild it from memory, and so she'd start getting things wrong along the way. So that was I don't know how much of that I had figured out at the time, because again, this was for a school assignment, so it was like the night before, and I'm like,
You put in a lot of thought for a night before, just amazingly.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. And so, again, you get the beautiful shapes. And the fact that she is capable of this quick violence that we don't get from, we don't expect it from Ballister. I mean, it seizes us.
Yeah. I mean, that was my idea for her, and the original idea for Nightshade, when she was Nightshade, was like have someone who just comes in and they're not following the rules of a typical hero-villain relationship.
Yeah.
So you come in with your sidekick and they just kind of shout peppy one-liners from the sidelines and get like attacked by bees or something, I don't know. And then and so he has this very chivalrous relationship with his nemesis, and they just fight, and then he gets arrested, and it's the same every time.
Yeah.
And she comes in, it's just like murder.
Yeah.
Like murder immediately.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? No, we did not agree on this. What are you doing? We don't murder people.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I thought we did.
We're villains, right? That's what we do. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, just having someone who just breaks all the rules immediately and just looks so different from what the kind of like set aesthetic is. It's like, no, we were supposed to wear this today. And it's like, well, I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. And so Nimona is being, that one is going to be an animated film, right?
Yeah,
how much creative, yes, big hand. Absolutely.
It is a movie, so things happen all the time.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
So, it can go away tomorrow. It can
Yeah.
become a live-action movie starring Vin Diesel in a year, which I would maybe kill to see. I kind of like to live in that dark universe.
As long as Vin has pants on. Okay.
No, I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, I know. I was kind of like, I'll say it, and if you want to take that the other way.
I'm really bad at like fan casting or like saying, here's the actor I would like. I just like Gwendolyn Christie for everything.
Yeah.
But when someone asked me who I would cast for Nimona, I was like, I want Vin Diesel to play Nimona, and Ballister and Golden Loin will both be played by Lucy Liu wearing different wigs.
Nice, nice. Does Lucy know this yet?
I haven't talked to her recently.
Okay.
We've got to catch up.
I know, right?
I'll call her up for brunch. Be my good pal Lucy.
Have your people call her people? And
All the time.
yeah.
Text her right now.
Wait, hold on.
I don't know Lucy.
So how much creative control will you have over this, other than Vin and Lucy? In terms of the vision, because this, like it was what we just heard. I mean, this is coming from. This is art as an act of not just self-expression, but affirmation from a deep, deep place, a sleepless place sometimes. But you this is your baby, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky when it comes to, so far, when it comes to the Nimona side of things. Like Lumberjanes, I don't have any control over. Mm-hmm. But Nimona, I'm the co-producer, so they don't really need to ask me permission to do anything, but they kind of have to tell me that they're doing it.
Yes.
So that's really nice. So it is like, I was at the kickoff meeting. I just have like a bigger connection to it. And
right.
I'm hoping that I will be pretty actively involved throughout the whole process.
Okay.
And
nice.
turn out something good, but
And
mostly like trying to trust these people to do their
Yeah.
jobs and also be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. But go ahead.
And then Lumberjanes, it's again everything up in the air in Hollywood, but on track for it to be a live action film, right? Can you?
So I've heard.
Yeah. So can you just talk about any hopes or any fan casting for that?
Gwendolyn Christie.
Okay.
I legitimately did tell them that I wanted Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It means nothing to them. I don't think that they actually pass that on.
Okay. Well, we will text Gwendolyn and
Yes.
go from there. And you do amazing sharks.
I
You
try.
do. And do you hear from? Because I've talked to, friends of young relatives about what Nimona means to them. You must hear from young fans, young readers, especially girls. What do you hear? What do they say?
Yeah, I mean, it's really powerful to hear from girls who are writing from the experience that I was kind of writing from, and the dedication is to all the monster girls, which is like when you're a teen girl, you're like, I mean, you have a lot of power in you.
Yeah.
You're a monster, kind of, most of them that I know.
Yeah.
It is you're like trying to look normal or what you think normal should look like, but then you also have like in my experience, a lot of anger and a lot of fear and a lot of just like the desire to be heard and listened to and respected and loved, even if maybe, you know, you have too many feelings and maybe you hurt people sometimes. And like, so that to hear from girls, especially, you know, girls with mental illness or who have, you know, something that they feel sets them apart. That's just one of the most, like, that's who this is for. Yeah, so.
That's amazing. And anyone inspire Golden Boy like there? Any one person or family member, or is that just, you know, he's can't remember that. Yeah.
I mean, he's just like a guy.
Yeah. Just a guy?
Just a guy with pretty hair.
Okay.
I'm sure he's like Legolas at some point in the past.
Yeah.
Legolas was my favorite.
Could Lucy Liu play him?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll text her now.
Okay. We'll make that happen. We have just a few minutes here, and I really want you guys to be able to ask her some questions. We have a microphone right here, and I can't tell if we have one over there.
Yeah, it looks like there's one over there.
Questions? Let's see. I think I see a hand, but
there's
no.
There's a hand over here. There's a hand over here.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, there we go.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book in the world? Oh, wow.
I was going to ask that.
I really liked The Phantom Toll Booth growing up.
Yeah.
I read that one like every year at around the same time. So it's like, you know, a journey of a very ordinary boy through a world of math and letters. And I don't remember exactly what happened in that book. They ate cakes. I liked it.
Was that one allowed in the home, or was that one discovered? Okay.
Because it was educational.
Okay, yeah.
Also Redwall. Redwall was very gruesome. Do you remember that?
Of course, yeah.
Mice just like fighting each other.
Yeah.
And that was fine. That was okay. No problems in my house.
They're mice.
I loved mice.
They're mice that harm.
And
yes,
badgers.
right here.
What was your favorite Scooby-Doo character?
Velma, obviously.
Yes.
I was
Velma.
one of five. So everyone in my family, if we ever saw like, this is what kids do, I think, maybe still. You see some characters on TV, and you're like, that's you. You're like, there's the ugly character, and you're like, that's you. So there were 5 of us, 5 Scooby characters, and they're like, you're Velma, because you're the nerd, ha. I was like, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. I love her. And I'll still get like personally offended if someone like talks trash about Velma.
Yeah. So if they were to remake Scooby-Doo, would you be aboard? Would you want to?
They're always remaking Scooby-Doo.
No, I
they
mean,
literally never stop making Scooby-Doo.
No, I mean feature. I mean the full feature film.
Would I make Scooby-Doo?
Would you? Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So take note. Yes.
When did you first get influenced to draw?
I started drawing before I could write. So I think I don't really remember because I was pretty young. I know my dad used to bring home papers from his work that had like numbers printed on one side and then they were blank on the other, and I would just color on the other side, and my mom would put them in frames. And I must have been probably, I don't know, 4, 5, pretty young. Yeah. They almost couldn't keep up with the amount of paper that I wanted to draw on. Yeah.
We'll probably have time to work in 2 more quick questions. So right here.
How did you come up with the idea for like the plot of Nimona?
I actually knew the plot almost as soon as I knew who Nimona was. I think the idea that she wasn't really a girl, or she wasn't really like a human girl, that was like really the seed that set it off. And I kind of saw what the ending was, where it's like, who's to say she's not the dragon? And what do knights do? They slay dragons. So how can I like set up this relationship between these 3 people where, you know, you have the knight, or you have the hero, the villain, and the sidekick, and then all of a sudden twist those tables and reveal that it's actually the hero, the villain, and the monster. And they're not who you think they are. Yeah. So I kind of knew exactly what was going to happen, and it evolved along the way. But I knew that she was going to have to sort of betray Ballister at some point and reveal that she was more than who she seemed to be.
Wow.
Yeah. Spoilers, sorry if no one's
Spoiler,
read it, but
yeah.
it's really good. You should read it.
Yes.
Did you ever plan out Ballister and Ambrosius's relationship, like, from the beginning?
Yeah, I think that was like part of the original idea was that, like, you know, it's like Lex Luthor and Superman, and they're always like, you know, their faces are like this close together, and they're like, grrr, but like they really, really care about each other. They follow each other everywhere, and it's like if Superman didn't show up, Lex would be really sad. And so it's just like, I wanted to just like kind of break down every wall and just have this guy who's just like, just kind of in love with his nemesis, like almost not ambiguously. He's just like obsessed with him and can't think about anything else. And they use their fights as a way to just like hang out with each other.
Also, I really ship Bal and Loin.
That's a better one than some
Okay,
that I've
this will
heard.
probably have to be our last question, right?
If you ever get artist or writer's block, what do you do to make things through that?
Sometimes I just lie on the floor. It really does help. Like lying down, it just helps. But now I have like a dog and a cat, so they both come and lie on me, and so it helps less than it used to. My dog will literally lie on my face. So, but I also find taking a bath really helps. I'll just like, you know, run a nice bath and just hang out, and I'll be like, I got it. Or I'll take a walk or like drive my car. Anything that you're doing where you don't have to think too much and you can get away from your screen or away from your, you know, your pen and paper and just walk around. And it always helps to talk things through. So I always have, you know, I have my friends and they get so tired, but I'm like, all right, can you just help me with this story point? And I just like talk their ear off, and they don't, you know, almost say anything. And then I'm like, oh, you're a genius. You helped me so much. And like, I didn't say anything.
All your friends are geniuses.
They
It's
are
amazing.
geniuses.
Yeah. I think this will need to be the last question. So yes.
Who inspires you the most?
Oh, wow. Ooh.
You want to lie down on the floor and think?
Taylor Swift.
Whoa! I did not see that coming.
I think
Why?
Taylor Swift is going to take over the world one day.
Oh, yeah.
She's a supervillain.
Yeah,
I'm
she
kind
is.
of ready.
People think it's Trump. It's Taylor Swift. She will.
It's going to be like, it's going to be totalitarian. She's going to
Yeah.
rule us all.
She'll say squad goals, but she is.
We will all be in her squad.
We'll
We
all-
will, like, be,
the world is
and
her
we'll
squad.
love it, you know?
Yeah.
My friend got me tickets to her concert, and we got these little wristbands that light up in time to the music. And as
Yeah.
we were leaving, it's like they would still like kind of flash from time to time. I'm like, one day these are going to go off, and we'll know that Taylor is summoning us to the war.
And to that, we will all be there for your squad goals. A big hand, Noelle Stevenson, please.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.